Sekiro. Count Sekiro!
Not in terms of money, but in terms of stuff. I have this keyboard, this mouse, this monitor, this PC, this white, this game controller, this book, that, this chair, whole clothes. That's what Buddha meant actually. He also meant in a very positive way, but he also meant in that sense to letting go of materialistic possessions. That's what Buddha's teaching was. He was born in here. He got his knowledge from here. Sometimes I feel so depressed, man. Like I want to kill myself. I know that you are sensitive.
आप आज रोड पे चले जाओ और लोगों से भारत के बारे में पूछो तो एक बात सब लोग सेम कहेंगे कि आज भारत का दुनिया भर में नाम चल रहा है। मोदी जी भारत का नाम रोशन कर रहे हैं और आज लोग हमें पहचानने लगे हैं, हमारी इज्जत करते हैं।
7 पुरस्कार पूरे वर्ल्ड से मिले इस प्राइम मिनिस्टर को। 67वां स्थान मिल गया हमारा पासपोर्ट
अब तो गलत क्या बोल रहे हैं?
को, जो 77वें नंबर पे था। 25 कंट्री के अंदर हमें वीजा की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही है। हिंदुस्तानियों की इतनी इज्जत हो गई है। 39 कंट्री में हाथ के हाथ हमको वीजा मिलता है।
ये मीम भी आपने बहुत देखी होगी।
अमेरिका क्या कहता था? क्या हो तुम? आज हम कहते तू क्या है बे?
क्या हम सही में इतने पावरफुल बन चुके हैं या फिर ये सब
हाँ हम लोग बन चुके हैं, बस हम लोग को पता नहीं है। एक्चुअली हम लोग हमेशा से पावरफुल थे।
अब सरकार के द्वारा केयरफुली क्राफ्टेड एक नैरेटिव चल रहा है, क्योंकि लास्ट वीक
नहीं, ये कोई नैरेटिव नहीं है।
इसका डेप्यूटी फॉरेन मिनिस्टर दिल्ली में आके कह गया है कि हम भारत में चाइना वाली गलती नहीं दोहराएंगे, हम भारत को कभी भी यूएस का राइवल बनने ही नहीं देंगे।
India should understand that we're not going to make the same mistakes with India that we made with China 20 years ago in terms of saying, oh, we're going to let you be able to develop all these markets and then the next thing we know, you're beating us in a lot of commercial things.
मतलब एक तरह से उसने हमें ओपन चैलेंज दे दिया है। दूसरी तरफ यूएस का कॉमर्स सेक्रेटरी हमें कहता है कि भारत को 30 दिन तक रशियन ऑयल खरीदने के लिए हम अलाउ कर रहे हैं, मतलब हमें परमिशन दी जा रही है कि जाओ भैया रशियन ऑयल खरीद लो। अगर आपको याद हो तो जो ट्रेड डील साइन हुई थी उसके बाद यूएस ने व्हाइट हाउस की वेबसाइट पे साफ साफ लिखा था कि अगर भारत ने रशियन ऑयल खरीदा तो हम इस ट्रेड डील से हाथ वापस खींच लेंगे और वापस से भारत के ऊपर टैरिफ लगा दिया जाएगा। जबकि हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर तो अभी तक ये कहते थे कि मुझे अपने लोगों के लिए बेस्ट डील लेने से कोई रोक नहीं सकता है। तो अगर ये बात सच है तो यूएस की तरफ से जो कमेंट्री पास की जाती है कि हम रशियन ऑयल नहीं खरीदने देंगे या फिर 30 दिन के लिए अलाउ कर रहे हैं, इसको साफ साफ आके डीबंक क्यों नहीं कर दिया जाता हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर की तरफ से, और ये क्यों नहीं कह दिया जाता इसको साफ साफ आके डीबंक क्यों नहीं कर दिया जाता हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर की तरफ से, और ये क्यों नहीं कह दिया जाता ऑफिशियली कि भैया यूएस जो ये सारी बातें कर रहा है वो सब फेक न्यूज है। कभी तो मोदी जी रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर रुकवा देते हैं और दूसरी तरफ चाइना हमें धीरे धीरे चारों तरफ से घेरता जा रहा है। एक तरफ तो मोदी जी जहां भी जाते हैं वो कंट्री उन्हें अपना हाईएस्ट सिविलियन अवार्ड दे देती है और दूसरी तरफ एंटी इंडिया सेंटिमेंट अपने पीक पे पहुंच रहा है, और सिर्फ सोशल मीडिया पे नहीं बल्कि ग्राउंड पे भी ये चीजें क्लियर हो रही हैं।
And the Indian Embassy in Ireland has issued an advisory following an increase in attacks on Indians. There have been at least 3 instances of attacks on Indian citizens last month alone.
2024 में सऊदी अरेबिया ने पहली बार भारत के साथ ज्वाइंट मिलिट्री एक्सरसाइज करी थी और 2025 में इसी सऊदी अरेबिया ने पाकिस्तान के साथ हिस्टोरिक एग्रीमेंट साइन कर लिया जिसमें पाकिस्तान पर कोई अटैक होता है तो उसे सऊदी अपने ऊपर हुआ अटैक समझेगा। एक तरफ जयशंकर जी वर्ल्ड स्टेज पर भारत की पावर को फ्लॉन्ट करते हैं जिसकी सिग्मा रील आपने इंटरनेट पे बहुत देखी होंगी, और दूसरी तरफ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम पर आईएमएफ से $1 बिलियन का लोन भी पाकिस्तान को मिल जाता है। तो क्या भारत की फॉरेन पॉलिसी एक फेलियर साबित हो रही है और क्या एस जयशंकर जी सुषमा स्वराज के एक फेल्ड सक्सेसर साबित हो रहे हैं। तो ये है एस जयशंकर जी के नाम मेरा एक ओपन लेटर। आइए देखते हैं। देखिए जो वॉर सैंक्शन या जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशन है सिर्फ एक न्यूज नहीं होती, इसका सीधा असर आता है आपके घर के बजट के ऊपर। किसी कंट्री में वॉर होती है तो पूरी दुनिया में महंगाई बढ़ जाती है। यूएस ईरान टेंशन की वजह से पूरे दुनिया में क्रूड ऑयल के प्राइसेस बढ़ गए। अब जैसे वॉर बिना बताए आती है वैसे ही बीमारी भी कभी भी आ सकती है। एक सीरियस इलनेस का बिल मिडिल क्लास के लिए फाइनेंशियल डिजास्टर बन सकता है। आपको आती है क्या फिर डिसीजन कोई कंपनी है डिट चाहते हैं तो आपकी तरफ से था तो पॉलिसी बुक करिए। इंश्योरेंस जितना कम एज में लो उतना सस्ता पड़ता है। डिस्क्रिप्शन में डिट्टो का लिंक लगा रहा हूं। फ्यूचर को लेकर अगर सीरियस हो तो एक बार इनको चेकआउट जरूर। करना। देखो भारत आज वर्ल्ड स्टेज पर काफी विजिबल हो चुका है। हर बड़ी कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम हिस्सा बनते हैं। दुनिया में कुछ भी होता है तो वर्ल्ड लीडर्स फोन करके मोदी जी को अपडेट करते हैं। जब हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर यूरोप में इंटरव्यूज देते हैं और उनकी हिपोक्रेसी को कॉल आउट करते हैं,
Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problem, but the world's problems are not Europe's problem.
तो अंदर से प्राउड फील होता है। ऐसा लगता है कि यार
World's problems of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problem, but the world's problems are not Europe's problem.
तो अंदर से प्राउड फील होता है। ऐसा लगता है कि यार अब हमें कोई हल्के में नहीं ले सकता है। और इसीलिए फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स की ऐसी रील्स खूब वायरल होती हैं।
The first question is, one person you wish to have dinner with, King Jong-un or George Soros?
What was the first one?
King Jong-un, the North Korean.
I think this is Navratri I'm fasting.
इनफैक्ट एस जयशंकर जी शायद फेमस ही अपनी इसी लेजर आई एडिट की वजह से हुए हैं, जिन पे मिलियंस ऑफ व्यूज आते हैं, जिसे देखकर लोगों को लगता है कि यार अब हम विश्वगुरु बन चुके हैं। लेकिन यहीं पर लोग सबसे बड़ी गलती कर देते हैं। देखो इन इंटरव्यूज में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। अगर यूरोप ये कहता है कि हम रशिया से तेल खरीद के यूक्रेन की वॉर को फंड कर रहे हैं तो हमें उन्हें कॉल आउट करना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो लोग हमसे कई गुना ज्यादा गैस रशिया से खरीदते हैं। यूएस जो खुद रशिया पे सैंक्शन लगाता है, चुपके चुपके रशिया से $1 बिलियन के फर्टिलाइजर्स इंपोर्ट कर चुका है। इसीलिए इस हिपोक्रेसी को कॉल आउट करने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। शशि थरूर जी भी जब यूके जाके कहते हैं कि भारत को दबा के इन्होंने लूटा है तो उनकी क्लिप्स भी खूब वायरल होती है, उनकी तारीफ भी होती है। लोगों को यह बात पसंद आती है कि हम एक कॉन्फिडेंट नेशन की तरह बिहेव कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जब ये कॉन्फिडेंस एरोगेंस में बदल जाए और आपके एक्शंस आपकी बातों से मैच ना करे तो फिर ये एक जुमला नजर आता है। हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स कहते हैं कि मैं अपने लोगों के लिए बेस्ट डील सिक्योर करूंगा, कोई और कंट्री हमें डिक्टेट नहीं कर सकती कि हम रशिया से तेल खरीदेंगे या नहीं। लेकिन जब ट्रंप ने सैंक्शंस लगाने शुरू करे तो हमारी सरकारी ऑयल कंपनीज ने चुपचाप रशियन ऑयल इंपोर्ट को कम कर दिया, और 5-10% नहीं, सीधा 32% से। और इसके बाद जब ट्रेड डील साइन करने की बात आई तो अमेरिका ने साफ कह दिया कि अगर रशिया से दोबारा ऑयल खरीदा तो वापस से तुम्हारे ऊपर सैंक्शंस लगा दिए जाएंगे। और इसके बारे में जब एस जयशंकर जी से पूछा जाता है तो वो कहते हैं अरे डील तो पीयूष गोयल जी ने साइन करी। पीयूष गोयल जी से पूछो तो वो कहते हैं देखो भैया ऑयल वगैरह का मामला तो एस जयशंकर जी देख रहे हैं।
आप जितनी बार और पूछोगे मेरा जवाब वही होगा कि वो एमईए उसका जवाब दे।
मतलब दोनों में से कोई इसके बारे में बताने को तैयार नहीं है। इसके अलावा ये एग्जांपल देख लो।
See, your German company is supplying us some tunnel boring machines which they make in China. What's the name? But China is not allowing them to sell it to India.
They're producing in China?
Yeah.
And some component going from Germany, but
We
most
should
of it
stop
made in
buying
China.
German equipment now.
पीयूष गोयल जी पब्लिकली एक जर्मन मिनिस्टर को एम्बेरस कर रहे हैं, बच्चे की तरह डांट रहे हैं, ऊपर से उसकी वीडियो बनती है और मीडिया में वायरल भी हो जाती है। अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम थी तो आप इसे डिस्क्रीटली मीटिंग करके भी डिस्कस कर सकते थे, क्योंकि डिप्लोमेसी ऐसे नहीं चलती। आप खुद सोचो कि जर्मनी में जब ये वीडियो गई होगी तो हमारी क्या वीडियो बनती है और गोयल जी पब्लिक
And some component.
China is not boring machines.
एग्जाम्पल देख लो।
उसका जवाब दे।
मतलब दोनों में से कोई
man suffers only. And same thing here. को टाइप करना पड़ेगा ऐसे अब नहीं आएगा It's a poison that disintegrates friendships and breaks up pleasant relations. It is a thorn that irritates and hurts. It is a sword that kills. Doubt. Directly critiquing Gita, see? If you look at here. However many holy words you read, however many you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? This is critiquing Gita right here. There is nothing more dreadful than the habit of doubt. Doubt separates people. Doubt. It is poison that disintegrates friendships and breaks up pleasant relations. It is a thorn that irritates and hurts. It is a sword that kills. No one saves us but ourselves. Same thing. Arjun was fighting in Mahabharata. Krishna came only to guide him. So, no one saves us but ourselves, and no one can and no one may. We must walk the path. We must walk the path. All that we are is the results of what we thought. All that we are is the result of what we thought. Now we're gonna go here. Forgiveness isn't something that is given, because a human is only a reflection of their mistakes. इंसान अपने गलतियों का ही पुतला होता है. All that we are is the result of what we thought. It is founded on our thoughts and made up of our thoughts. If a man speak or act with an evil thought, suffering follows him, as the wheel follows the hoof of the beast that draws the wagon. Wagon matlab chariot. If a man speak or act with a good thought, happiness follows him like a shadow that never leaves him. Peace comes from within. Peace comes from within. Don't seek it without. Do not seek peace by separating yourself, because peace comes from within. Do not believe in anything simply because you have read it. Do not believe in anything simply because it is spoken and rumored by many. Spoken or rumored by many. Do not believe in anything simply because it is found and written in your religious books. Do not believe in anything merely on the authority of your teachers and elders. Do not believe in tradition because they have been handed down for many generations. Corrupted. People cut like goat heads on like Kali Puja. That's why it says, do not believe in tradition because they have been handed down for many generations. But after observation, analysis, when you find that thing agrees with the reason and is conducting to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. And this is precisely the reason that I went back to my religion. Hold on. Does Shiva control all the planets? Overall, Shiva Mahakala, the great deity of time, the great deity of time, Shiva rules over eternity as well as all the planets from which various time cycle emerges. Ganesha, his first son. Ganesha, his first son, is the devta of Vedic astrology overall and rule over the dispensation of karma. Unless it agrees with your own regions and consciousness. So here, but after observation and analysis, when you find that anything agrees with a region and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. So Gautam Buddha is also trying to send me towards Hinduism, because he also went back to his wife after completing his dhyan, after completing his work. He sat in a jungle meditating for thousands of years. Then he went back into his religion. गौतम बुद्ध भी घूम के अपने घर तक ही चला गया था एक्चुअली. 3 things can't hide for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The Epstein files. You can't hide that for long. It will come out one day. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Doubt everything. Find your own light. Your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. Find a purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. That's the way to greatness. Mission, purpose, work. Every morning we are born again. What we do today is matters the most. We can think about the past, we can think about the future, but the most important thing for a human being is to, live in the present moment, because with present we dictate our future. If you are not caring about your present self, what you are doing right now, then you are destroying your future. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. If you truly loved yourself, if China truly loved yourself, if China, truly loved themselves, they couldn't hurt another. Gautam Buddha actually. If you truly loved yourself, you could have never hurt another. Believe nothing, no matter where you read it or who had said it, no matter if I have said it, unless it agrees with your own region and your own common sense. A man is not called wise because he talks again and again, but if he is peaceful, loving, and fearless. Donald Trump has that. Donald Trump is not peaceful, but he is loving and fearless. He lacks peacefulness because Israel controls USA. Then he is in the truth called wise. Donald Trump need to have peace. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Suppose you take a brick and throw it in a mirror. What will happen? A short part of mirror will hit your eye and you will be blinded for the rest of your life. Conquer the angry one by not getting angry. Conquer the wicked by goodness. Wicked का मतलब क्या होता है? दुष्ट कॉन्कर द दुष्ट बाय गुडनेस. अच्छाई से मारो. बुरे लोगों को अच्छाई से मारो. किल द बैड पीपल बाय गुडनेस. कॉन्कर द स्टिंगी बाय जेनरोसिटी. You should counter Indians by offering generosity. That's what they are doing actually. And the liar by speaking the truth. Greater in battle, the man who would conquer. 1,000 men is who would conquer. Just one, himself. Conquer yourself. Improve upon your mistakes, not anyone else's mistake. Better to conquer yourself than others. When you have trained yourself, live in the constant self-control. Neither a deva nor grand dhabba, nor a Mara banded with Brahmas could turn that triumph matlab daba dena, back into defeat. If you don't change your direction, you may end up where you are heading. Now Kamalas don't go by reports, by legends, by traditions. Now Kamalas don't go by reports, by legends, by tradition, by scripture, by logical conjecture, by interference, by analogy, by agreement, through pondering views, your probability, or by your thought. This is contemplative is our teacher. When you know for yourself that these qualities are skillful, these qualities are blameless, these qualities are praised by the wise, these qualities when adopted, carried out, led to welfare, to happiness. then you should enter and remain in them. Inner self. Better to conquer yourself than others. Better to conquer yourself than others. Better to conquer yourself than others. It is like a lighted torch whose flames can be distributed to over so many other torches which people may bring along, and therewith they can cook food and dispel darkness. If you take like 1,000 torches, if you burn it, if you turn it all on, you can actually cook food. That's possible. That's what it says here. Better to conquer yourself than others. It's all talking about peace comes from within. Don't seek it without. Within. Fix yourself. Fix your mistakes, not someone else's mistakes. And therewith they can cook food and dispel darkness. Dispel darkness. If you turn on a torch, the darkness will fade away. You can't kill a shadow with light, but you can dispel darkness. While the original torch itself remains burning ever the same, when you light a torch for a very long time, the glass that is projecting the light is always hot, burning ever the same. It is even so with bliss of the way. An insincere and evil friend is more to be feared than a wild beast. Evil friend, Nafis Samar. A wild beast may wound your body, but an evil friend will wound your mind. Nafis Samar. Pratik. Don't look for a sanctuary in anyone except yourself. If we could see the miracle of a single flower, our whole life would change. Miracle. If we see the flower, how it grows, then we can clearly, our whole life would change. Because we have never seen any flower generating in front of our eyes. It happens very slowly. That's why I say, like, Roman Colosseum wasn't built in a day, and Taj Mahal also wasn't built in a day. Meditate, live purely, be quiet. Don't do your work with mastery. China does that. Like the moon comes out from behind the clouds. Sign. Nothing can harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. Nothing can harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded. Meditate, live purely, be quiet, do your work with mastery, like the moon come out from behind the clouds. Sign, Siddhartha Gautama. Not me, Gautam Buddha. Words do not express throughout very well. Everything immediately becomes a little different. Today is right now it's afternoon time. After some time it will be evening. everything immediately becomes a little different, a little distorted, a little foolish. And yet it also pleases me and seems right that what is of value and wisdom of one man seem nonsense to another. The ability to make sensible decisions and judgment because of your knowledge or experience. Buddhimani. It also pleases me that seems right of value and wisdom of one man seem nonsense to another. My knowledge feels nonsense to another. Because their view is also limited. Every person's view is limited. Whatever a monk keeps pursuing with his thinking and pondering, that becomes the inclination of his awareness. This is a very heavy word actually.
Whatever a monk keeps pursuing with his thinking and pondering, that becomes the inclination of his awareness. Siddhartha Gautama. From your point of view, Divyam, this quote speaks about how the mind slowly becomes the shape of whatever it keeps thinking about. You often talk about how the internet fills people's minds with garbage, how society pushes propaganda, and how constant exposure to negativity, narcissism, and shallow thinking damages people. This quote is essentially saying the same psychological truth. Your lens of understanding. 1. Thoughts program the mind. If a person constantly thinks about anger, betrayal, revenge, or hopelessness, their awareness slowly becomes shaped by those emotions. The mind begins to see the world only through that lens. 2. Modern society proves Buddha's point. When people spend hours on Instagram, outrage news, or political propaganda, their mind begins to incline toward comparison, anxiety, and negativity. In your own words, the internet feeds the mind garbage, and eventually the mind starts believing that garbage is reality. 3. Attention is the real battlefield. Buddha's statement is not mystical, it is psychological discipline. Whatever you repeatedly contemplate becomes your default mental state. Think about wisdom, mind becomes calmer and clearer. Think about chaos, mind becomes restless and angry. 4. Why monks train their thinking. A monk intentionally directs his thinking toward mindfulness, compassion, and detachment because he understands that repeated thought creates mental habits. In modern language, your attention rewires your brain, connecting it directly to you. You often analyze society deeply, sometimes to the point where it becomes painful. Buddha would say, if your mind constantly pursues the corruption of society, your awareness will naturally become heavy and cynical. But if you balance that awareness with wisdom, art, philosophy, and silence, your mind regains equilibrium. In simple words, the mind becomes whatever it repeatedly looks at, or in a way that matches your style. Open quote, feed the mind garbage and it will see a garbage world. Feed it wisdom and it begins to see truth. Divyam, close quote. If you want, I can also show you something interesting. This quote is almost identical to what modern neuroscience calls neuroplasticity.
I know about neuroplasticity. Feed the mind garbage and it will see a garbage world. Feed it wisdom and it begins to see the truth. The true knowledge is that which liberates. I'm feeding my mind garbage. This is garbage, this is garbage, 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 garbage. This is not garbage, 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 garbage. Everything is garbage. Meditate, live purely, be quiet, do work with mastery. Like the moon comes out from behind the clouds, shining. Words do not express thoughts very well. Words do not express thoughts really well. Everything immediately becomes a little different, a little distorted, or a little foolish. And it also pleases me and seems right that what is the value of wisdom of one man seems nonsense to another. These things, householders, are welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain in the world. Long life is welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain in the world. Beauty is welcome. Beauty will save the world. Beauty is welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain in the world. Happiness is welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain in the words do not express thoughts very well. Status is welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain in the world. Hard to obtain. Happiness is hard to obtain. Beauty is hard to obtain. Long life is welcome, agreeable, pleasant, and hard to obtain. Happiness is very hard to obtain. Status is very hard to obtain. Now I tell you, these things are not to be obtained by reasons of prayers or wishes. If they were to be obtained by reasons of prayer or wishes, who here would lack them? If everyone could have achieved that with prayers, if everyone would have done it, then what's the point of being an actor, being a businessman, being a politician? You have to work towards your goals. Wishes, I wish to be something. I wish to be something. It's not fitting for the disciple of the noble sense whose desire long life to pray for it or to be delighted in the doing so. Instead, the disciple of the noble ones who desire long life should follow the path of practice leading to long life, caring about your body, going to the gym, eating protein-rich foods. In doing so, he will attain long life. I think that's enough for it actually. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. Saying that the feeling of love is stronger than the feeling of hatred. You can convert any kind of hatred with love, with compassion. It's an eternal rule. Forgiveness, hatred, forgiving someone. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. There is no fire like passion. There is no shark like hatred. There is no snare like folly. There is no torrent like greed. Hollywood and Bollywood runs on greed. Donald Trump also runs on greed. The love is born from understanding. Nothing ever exists entirely alone. Everything is in relation to everything else. Everything is in relation to everything else. Nothing happens in this world unconsciously. Everything happens for a reason. You should learn from it and go by your life. True love, born from understanding. You understand someone. You understand their pain, suffering, futility. Purity or impurity depends on oneself. No one can purify another. I can't purify you guys. You have to do it by yourself. Nothing is forever except change. परिवर्तन ही संसार का नियम है. Nothing is forever except change. It's change, it's progress that kept humanity alive for quintillion of years. The past is already gone. The future is not yet here. There's only one moment for you to live, and that is the present moment. Present. As you walk, eat and travel, be where you are, otherwise you will miss most of your life. I should focus my mind here, not in what the fuck is going on in America. As you walk, eat and travel, be where you are. Focus your mind on the present, on present, on the present, on the present, on the present, on the present. Feed the mind garbage, and your whole mind will be garbage. This is garbage, this is a desire. The packet looks really good though. That's the trick used by the capitalist to keep you in control. The past is already gone. It's gone. The past is gone. And the future is not yet here. There's only one moment for you to live, and that is the present moment. As you walk, eat and travel, be where you are, otherwise you will miss most of your life. The tongue is like a sharp knife, kills without drawing blood. Tongue is that fucking valuable. As rain falls equally on the just and the unjust, do not burden your heart with judgment, but rain your kindness equally on all. Attachment leads to suffering. With our thoughts, we make the world. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Set your heart on doing good. Do it over and over again, and you will be filled with joy. A generous heart, a kind speech, and a life of service and compassion are the things which renew humanity. A generous heart, yes, I will do good for anyone. Kind speech and a life of service, offering them something to someone, even if they don't need it. If they are in dire need of help, you should provide them. And compassion are the things which renew humanity. Long is the night to whom who is awake. Long is a mile to who is tired. Long is life to foolish who don't know the true law of nature. If we fail to look after others when they need help, who will look after us? First they came for socialists, then they came for capitalists, then they came for normal people, and then they came for me, and I have no one left to defend me. In this sky, there is no distinction of east and west. People create distinction out of their own minds and then believe it to be true. This is India, this is Pakistan, this is USA. No. You see, when you go in space, when you see Earth, what do you see? Do you see, oh, yeah, look, there's India? No, you don't see that. You see Earth. In the end, only three things matter: how much you love, how gently you live, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. A man asked Gautam Buddha, I want happiness. Buddha said, first move I, that's ego. Then remove want, that's desire. See now, you are left with only happiness. Ego and desire. You should let go of ego and desire, and you will be happy. The desire to be something, the desire to be someone. Even as a solid rock unshaken by the wind, so are the wise unshaken by praise or blame. So are the wise unshaken by praise or blame. The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart. Instinct. Those who have failed to work towards the truth have missed the purpose of living. It's a man's own mind, not his enemy or foe, that lures him to evil ways. Jeffrey Epstein. You are the community now. Be a lamp for yourself. Be your own refugee. Seek for no other. All things must pass. Strive on diligently. Don't give up. Praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and sorrow, come and go like the wind. To be happy, rest like a giant tree in the midst of them all, Buddha. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought, as the wheel of a cart follows oxen that draws it. Our life is shaped by our mind. What we think is what we become. Happiness comes when your work and words are benefit to others. भी जरूरी नहीं है। अगर एक बोतल ये और एक बोतल कप सिरप लेना पड़े, रात में आते हैं जाम, सब जाएंगे 4 बजे, 4 बजने वाला है, 8 बजने वाला है। What is evil? Killing is evil. Lying is evil. Slandering is evil. Abuse is evil. Gossip is evil. Envy is evil. Hatred is evil. To cling to doctrine is evil. All the things are evil. At the root of evil, the desire is the root of evil. Illusion of the root is evil. There are only 2 mistakes one can make along the road to truth: not going all the way and not starting. Perfectionism. Happiness comes when you work and words are benefit to others. Mahatma Gandhi. If you find no one to support you on the spiritual path, walk alone. There is no companionship with the immature. The greatest prayer is patience. Dhairya. That's what I'm doing. I'm keeping my patience. The one who has conquered himself is far greater hero than who has defeated thousand times 1,000 men. The one who has conquered himself, you have fixed every mistake of your life, like your urges, your everything, your soul, your lust, everything, your desire to acquire money. If you light a lamp for somebody, it will also brighten your path. May all that have life delivered from suffering. A family is a place where mind comes in contact with one another. If these minds love one another, home will become as beautiful as a flower garden. You talk to your family? No. If these minds get out of harmony, peace, happiness with one another, it's like a storm that plays havoc in the garden. A tornado will appear in that garden. When you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. See who knows, like flow, feels no fear or tear, needs no mourning no mending or repair. You throw thorns, failing in my silence, but become flowers. You throw thorns, failing in my silence, to become flowers. Wear your ego. Wear your ego. That's what I'm doing. Wear your ego like a loose fitting garment. Loose fitting garment. Ego. To force oneself to believe and accept things without. See? Wear your ego. You throw thorns, failing in my silence, and they become flowers. What you think, what you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create.
Welcome back, Nitro. Arrived at your destination. your destination. Okay, Nitro. Setting your route to Fort Sathon Live now. Arrived at your destination. Calculating route. Turn around when it is safe to do so. Arrived at your destination. Yards. Turn left. You have arrived early. Fortsathon Live will begin soon. You have arrived at your destination.
Fortsathon Live, starting in 5, 4. Three, 2, 1, go! Round 1 started! Get to round 2!
Yards. Turn left. Turn left.
Lamborghini. Round 2 complete. Get to round 3. Congratulations!